Said. Haruna translates Saidi's story for him.
He met some people coming from the farm to the village and told him that, hey, I think it's better you go to the island. We had some commotion last night, so could be your mother instead.
The lions had actually swam from one side, from the south side, onto the island. God. Well, it's just, the most horrific story. He got to his farm and he finds the partially eaten bodies of his two children, the partially eaten body of his father, and then finds a drag mark with lion tracks going down to the river, and his mother was missing. He must have known that the same thing had happened to her. I cannot imagine what it must have been like for Said to actually see that with his own eyes. Those lions had crossed from the south side onto an island, and the only reason that they would have done that, there was no natural prey there, so those lions had made up their mind that there was food there, and that was human beings. These were man-eating lions on the rampage. They killed 4 people in a single night.
I feel like I'm finally starting to get inside the hunter's mind, and it's unsettling. What I've learned so far really does go against all my previous experience. It's not one lion, not an old or sick animal. We're talking about whole prides coming in strength and coming to the very places they usually avoid. They don't run when confronted, and they don't scare. They have a new strategy. They locate their prey precisely, and they target individuals. Something here made these lions switch to hunting humans. To find out if the trigger is as simple as hunger, I'm headed away from the villages and deeper into the wild. Just a short drive away are 2 huge game reserves, where there are more wild lions than anywhere else on Earth. Selu Game Reserve alone is larger than Switzerland. Its borders are so close to the villages and farms, it could be where the Maneaters are coming from. I need to see if the lions here are just short of prey. These huge reserves contain some of the greatest wildlife concentrations on the continent. 120,000 buffalo, 70,000 elephants, more than 500,000 antelope, and over 2,000 giraffe.
Animal sign round about here everywhere. Droppings from impala, droppings from giraffes, some giraffe prints. But this is what I'm after. Not great. It's a lion pug mark. It's coming across here. This mud's been very soft and its foot's sunken right down into there. Oh, some more here, look. I love finding stuff like this because it's just a clear sign that the animals are here, and it shows some kind of intention, you know, where were they going? Why were they going there? Oh, wow, 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 look at these ones. Holy mackerel. That's a big lion. That's a very big lion. Smaller ones here. Definitely large pride of lions moving this direction.
All I need to do to find them is follow the tracks.
By finding these lines, it actually tells us a huge amount about this area. It tells us that there must be a lot of prey, not only to support these two females, but to support the male that's part of this pride. And these animals are doing well. They're reproducing. They've got 5 cubs here. You look at the cubs and you think, how could they ever be threatening? They're small, cute, cuddly. But when you actually look into their eyes, what I see is a predator. An animal that spends almost its entire life thinking about meat. Every single lion faces some kind of problem in life. And I think it's problems that turns a normal lion into a man-eater.
But if there's one problem the cats in the park don't have to worry about, it's hunger.
The most important thing that I've learned is that these man-eating lions, the problem lions, are not the same lions that I find in the park. There is absolutely no reason for those lions in Selu to move outside. They have got everything that they need there. But there are lions living outside. Lions are very adaptable. Round about here, you see people all the time. You hear people all the time. But then when the sun goes down, you're lying in the dark in your tent and you hear all these natural sounds. Not a single human being. You start wondering, what is out there? Because there are things here.
Now the rain is here, the whole landscape is coming alive. I'm going to set up my trap cameras to see what is out there, if there's enough natural prey outside the park for the lions.
Using these camera traps, it's hit and miss, and you tend to miss more than you hit. First thing you have to find is a decent place to put them. This is a good area. You've got this long path here. A lot of animals will use these paths. This is a human path, but a lot of animals will use something like this. Rather than picking their way through these thick trees, they'll stick to a path like this. It's easier for them. You can see there's some animals come along here, something big. I can't tell what it is, the tracks aren't clear enough, but you can see there's a fairly worn path along here. I don't know how visible it is, but the path kind of snakes round this tree. So if something comes in this direction, the camera will pick it up when it gets to about here. I'll get a bum shot, and the animal keeps on walking past. Quite often what happens is the animal catches sight of the camera trap, knows something isn't quite right, and it'll stop, and you get a nice kind of portrait shot before it wanders off. That was the easy part. The difficult bit is remembering where to put them all.
Well, not a very rich harvest. A mouthful of monkey would barely feed a cub, no more. No impala, no wildebeest. Whatever they're feeding on, I'm not finding it. Maybe the answer is where the bulk of the attacks took place.
The last outbreak kicked off on the south side of the Rufiji River, so that's where I'm going to head. Practically all of these attacks took place around the fields in the Dungu, so I'm going to go and spend a night there just to try and get my head around what it is like to be out there in the pitch black with wild animals around.
When I'm there, at the very epicenter of the outbreaks, I'm going to see if I can uncover what it is that triggers the attacks.
Solid boat.
Only if I'm on the spot am I going to be able to get inside the lions' minds. I'm going to spend the night alone with only my cameras in the Dungu. I've just heard that my insurers have withdrawn my life insurance for tonight, so that doesn't fill me with confidence. I need to do this to really get a feel for what the lions find here, to see through the lion's eyes in exactly the same conditions.
I'm leaving. People talk about how these lions mysteriously show up in one village, kill someone, and then 20 kilometers away, they mysteriously just show up and kill someone else, and no one sees them walking between the villages. Well, no wonder. Look around here. It is dense bush. This is the type of terrain that 12 lions could walk through, and you'd never, ever know they were there. There could be a pride right here. You'd never know. Planting.
The reason the farmers live in these fields over harvest time is to protect their crops from raiders.
Not exactly travelling light. I'm just hoping that before the light goes, I'll be able to put out my camera traps. There are animals coming in and just completely devastating the stuff that these people plant. I'd be interested to find out exactly what those animals are. Home sweet home. This is looking good. Actually looks very nice and comfortable. Oh, it'd be great. Everyone's gonna leave me.
Bye, Gordy.
Bye. Joke's over. You're not really gonna leave me here.
We are.
Am I the foolish one? Would you mind doing it?
Would I?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it for all the tea and challenge.
When the man who's been studying the lions in this area for 10 years says there's no way he'd stay in that overnight, then I'd take my lead from him.
And I'm with Joe.
Okay.
Good night, Gordy. See ya.
Ah, okay.
Bye to Gordy. You're all alone tonight.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Well, I'm here, there's no going back. I'm on the south side of the river, and all my compadres have left me, so make the most of it. Enjoy it. Hey, what's there not to enjoy? I'm just at the epicenter of the last outbreak of man-eating. And I'm reminded of all the things that I've read, of all the people that I've spoken to that have told me about lions coming to places exactly like this, dragging people out, killing them and eating them. I can suddenly see and imagine all of those things going on. I might not be able to figure out exactly why it happens, but right now it all seems very real.
I've put myself into the killing fields.
Just going to leave the safety of my Dungu. Is it that safe? Probably not, considering most of the people that were killed around the Dungus or actually sleeping in them. I don't think they offer much safety at all. What I want to do before I lose the light entirely is find a place to put these camera traps, so it just saves me having to wander out, and I don't want to be spending any time walking about here at night time. I've been strongly advised against leaving the Dungu once it gets dark. Yeah, somebody was attacked 2 weeks ago. Okay, we've got a little sapling here that I'm going to fasten one camera trap to. I've got 4 to put out, so I'm just going to have to hurry and put them out now. A bit of a rush. Beginning to feel a bit nervous now. Has to be said. I don't know whether I'm foolhardy or foolish, or whether those things are one of the same. It's going to be an interesting night. I'm not sure if I'm going to get much sleep. I'm not sure if I want to go to sleep. In fact, I'm not sure whether I want to be here at all.
The trouble is, I know night is when lions go to work. They locate their victims using scent and sound. They will smell me long before I get wind of them. To keep me safe, I'm relying on the technology I have to penetrate the dark.
Okay, I've just flicked on the thermal imaging camera. I'll have a pan around. There's a noise over there. There must be about 5 rats in the thatch of this roof, scurrying about. It is inky black tonight. There's just absolutely no light. All the rustling that I can hear, it sounds exactly what my brain is telling me a lion would sound like if it was sneaking up on me. I can't see anything, I can't hear anything, and that's exactly the kind of advantage that lions use. It's really spooky, kind of exciting, but not a good excitement. Horrible excitement. That kind of excitement that, oh God, the light's gone off. At the moment, I don't know, I don't feel particularly safe. In fact, I actually feel the furthest from being safe that I've ever felt. And my light's not bloody working. Come on, switch back on. Why is that off?
Hi, Gordon, can you hear me? Hello, Gordon. Are you there?
Hello, Gordon, can you hear me? This is Joe. Gordon, can you hear me? It's nothing. I hope he's just run out of batteries. I mean, we're well inside the range that they should work. So it's been about 4.5 hours to get here on the river. Gordon's been on his own all night. We haven't had any contact with him. Can't get hold of him on the radio, so we're in a bit of a panic.
I say, hamjambo. Habari. Wewe mgeni wetu umemwona? Yule mzungu aliyekuwa kule juu. Yuko kule. Okay.
What did you say, Harina? What did you ask him?
Did you find our guest who slept here last night? I said, yes, he's up there.
He's up there?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Sounds like he's still in one piece.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to gather in my camera traps and see if there's anything on them. They've been out all night, and I'm just really interested to know if any animals came into these crop fields last night, and if they did, what were they? It's been triggered 15 times, that's good. I don't feel that positive, to be honest. I would have thought if there were animals that came into the fields last night, the people in these dungus would have heard them and come out and scared them off. This one, 19 triggers on it. Jumbo. Okay, last camera trap here has been triggered 5 times. Yeah, you never know. I'm going back to the dungu. My thatched little dungu. 'Cause this is the only kind of dungu that I do.
Finally, I should have some evidence of my own. I'm hoping that my infrared cameras will shed light on the mystery of these man-eating lions.
Seems a bit strange sitting here with a state-of-the-art laptop in a dungu. It's the sound of technology. Something's triggered it, but I can't see what. Nothing out there, that's weird. Spirit lions. Whoa, look at that. A bat and a cat. Well, it's not a cat. I think it's a genet. These animals are truly nocturnal. They feed on things like rodents and small lizards and snakes if they can catch them. Fruit as well. And again, this is very close to where I was sleeping. So, night time, it's a completely different world. There are animals out there that you just don't know they're around. Just shutting through, okay, nothing there. Again. Oh, what the heck was that? What's that? Oh, I think it's a dog. Yeah, must be a dog. Floppy ears, whiskers. New species. Deer. Oh, wow.
So there is some prey out here.
Okay, that is a definite crop raider. Not what I was expecting. Not at all what I was expecting. Oh, what is that? Bush pig. It's a bush pig. Wow. That's just here. Just out. There's another one. 2, in fact. Big beasts. Huge. Oh, look, how many are there? How many are there? And piglet. Well, not piglets, but they're pretty big ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And getting more and more bold every time they come back. That's amazing. And all the while, I was fast asleep in here. Didn't know anything about it. That's a result. A big question has been answered for me. If this is where the lions come, and this is where the lions kill and eat people, why do people have to come here? And it's to protect their crops against these animals. This is just one little patch. There could be hundreds out there. These are exactly the kinds of animals that lions will hunt naturally. It's a fairly tricky animal for a lion to catch, but they do catch them.
And more importantly, they are what draw the lions here to the Dungus. So what researchers have found, and I've now seen for myself, is that the pigs are the key to the mystery. They come into the farmlands to raid crops. This draws in lions that hunt the pigs for food. The farmers go into the fields to drive away the pigs and come face to face with lions. With only Dungus for shelter, defenceless farmers become the prey. But there's something bothering me. Bush pigs live all over Africa. Why here? Why only here? I'm so close.
That is incredible. Got a bush pig right here. How strange. We're in a place where you don't see any wild animals. It's not a feral pig. This is a completely wild bush pig. Hey, piggy pig. I don't believe it. Hey, fella. Look at the size of him. Okay, he's going to trigger my camera trap. That's incredible. I don't believe that. I've heard monkeys round about here, but bush pigs ordinarily are absolutely terrified of humans because they get shot and they get eaten. That's weird. That's very weird.
Walking into the village, I feel I'm on the verge of the answer. As the call to evening prayer rings out, as it has every night, I realise it's been right in front of me the whole time. This part of Tanzania is different from the rest. Here, bush pigs aren't scared of people because no one hunts them as they do everywhere else. And the reason is in their belief.
Every story I've heard about people being hunted by these man-eaters, it's taken place out in the farms. They're spending all this time in the farms protecting their crops from these bush pigs. I thought, why don't they kill them, trap them, eat them? They don't do that because 99% of the people in this entire area are Muslim. They don't eat pigs. They don't even like touching them.
For the researchers studying the man-eaters, this fact was the final piece to the puzzle. When bush pigs are off the menu, their numbers explode, drawing in the lions from miles around to areas where pigs feel safe, to where people are sleeping and walking after dark. My personal fear is that lions here could forsake bush pigs as prey, when humans are easier to hunt. There is hope though. Here in these villages, Haruna is working with the locals to keep bush pigs and predators alike from their fields.
We put on some of the plots, and we house also the noisemakers and see if it can help them to keep bush pig away.
I can only hope, for their sake, that it works.